Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to manifest everything that you want. I'm going to hop right in, but before I do, make sure you hit the like button and let's get started. One thing I think about a lot is when people have a life-changing event. Let's say maybe they have a kid, maybe it was an unexpected child, and when that happens, it really changes their environment and their situation. And after such a big change, what happens very quickly after is they will do something drastic and change their entire situation. Maybe they'll get a new job or move to a new state even, and basically what their daily life and their daily environment looks like will be very different. There will be drastic changes that follow these big life events. And what's always funny about this is before the big change happened, they would have never envisioned themselves doing these things. They would have never imagined that they could maybe make that amount of money or live in a different state, anything like that, or live in a bigger house. But when the change happens, it almost forces them to take all of the actions that will lead them to this place because they know that that's where they need to be. And the reason this happens is because when a big change like that happens, it really changes your identity and who you think you are and what you feel like you need to be doing. And what it really does is it cuts through all of the emotional baggage that you might have or any resistance that you might have towards change. So maybe when you think about your career, say you've really wanted a career change, maybe you wanted to make a certain amount of money, but you have all this emotional baggage about why it can't happen, or maybe you feel like you don't deserve it or you're not worthy, or if you feel like, okay, maybe I should take these actions to get to where I want to be, but then there's this back and forth because you have a lot of baggage and a lot of resistance to these changes. But when a big life event happens, it really cuts through all of that and it cuts through the resistance really, really quickly. So the idea is, how can you implement these changes without a sudden, scary, big life-changing event? And if you think about it, it really isn't about the event, it's about the changes that are happening internally. Whenever I have manifested something big in my life, it always started with an internal change. And sometimes I can even feel the change. I can even, like, if I look back, I can pinpoint some of the exact moments when these changes happen because it's all internal. It's a change in who you think you are. It's a change in your story and your identity, and you can make that change anytime that you want. It's just a lot easier to make these changes when there's a big life event happening around you. The next thing I want to talk about is envy and how you can use that to your advantage. When I think back on the darkest times in my life when I was most unhappy, I recognize that there's this pattern of jealousy and envy. I would look around me, I would look on social media, and I would feel so envious and so jealous of other people when they had what I wanted. And the thing about this is it's a very natural reaction and you can actually use it in your favor. So if you ever known anyone or had a friend who would be like, oh, I can't look at that because I'll get so jealous, or they'll be like, oh, I can't watch that because it'll make me so envious, it'll make me feel so bad about myself. Again, a very natural reaction when you see other people have what you want and you feel like you don't have it yet, because that creates feelings of lack. But what you can do instead is allow it to inspire you. Again, you have a choice about how you want to feel about things. And at first it might feel weird or unnatural to do this, but when you allow yourself to be inspired by others instead of letting it bring you down or let it trigger feelings of lack or negativity, you're gonna find that this is a very empowering practice. When you see other people succeed and you feel happy for them and you feel joyous for them and you feel inspired by that, it really uplifts you and it uplifts the people around you as well. And it's going to raise your vibrations and take you to a much happier, more joyous place. And in that state, you're going to be able to attract more of the things that you want. You see someone succeed and you say, I'm so happy for them. Their life is so abundant. That and those feelings is going to get you so much closer to the things that you want, versus if you were to have a negative reaction to it, like feeling jealous or feeling lack in your own life when you see these things, then that's going to lower your vibration and take you further away from the things that you want. And I call it a practice because it doesn't always come naturally and it doesn't always come easily. But if you continue to practice it, like with anything, you'll get better at it and eventually it will feel really natural. It'll become second nature. And when you put out feelings and thoughts of positivity, of abundance, when you see other people succeed, that is exactly what you're going to get back. You're going to get more abundance and more joy in your life. But on the other hand, if you put out feelings of lack, of jealousy and envy, then you're going to get back more things that's going to make you feel feelings of lacking in your own life, and you're going to get back more things that will make you feel negative and jealous. Okay, the last thing I'm going to address is value. The value that you place in yourself and who you are will equate to the things that come into your life. And this is very important because in everything we judge and we evaluate what things are worth. In business especially, you might say, well, this is worth a certain amount and this is not worth a certain amount. Maybe in your personal life, when you're shopping, you'll see an item that you like, you look at the price and you decide if it's worth it or not. So feelings of worthiness about yourself and the value that you place on yourself and what you deserve is going to be reflected in your reality. One of my favorite sayings is, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you think you deserve. Cubby's here. Actually, I have a good example with this one. When she's at my house, she asks for walks like 3 or 4 times a day because that's kind of the patterns that we have in force, and she's used to that routine. So when she's here, she's like, this is what I deserve. But when she's at her grandma's house, she doesn't ask for walks because she knows it doesn't happen there. So actually, what she thinks she deserves will change based on her environment, and what she gets because of what she thinks she deserves also changes. So like if I didn't walk her last night at the time that I was supposed to, she'd freak out and just bug me and annoy me until I take her out because this is like what she thinks she deserves. And then she got it because of the way that she behaved, because of what she thinks she deserved. But if she was at a different place in a different environment and she didn't feel that way, she wouldn't ask or bug anyone, and she basically wouldn't get her walk. It's very similar to people. If you ask for a raise, you're much more likely to get it. If you never ask for one, you'll never get it. If you think you deserve a really loving relationship and you're not in one, you're gonna say, wait, this is not what I deserve. I deserve more and better. You're gonna get yourself out of that situation and you're gonna wait for something better to come along, something that is deserving of you, something that is worthy of you. On the other hand, if you don't think that you deserve that, you will just stay in any kind of negative, toxic situations because this is the value that you have placed on your own self and your own life. So really take some time to think about that and do some digging and some self-exploration about this idea of value and what value you have placed on yourself and your life. Because the thing about it is, it's so arbitrary. You know, designers and brand names will put a price on their items that's like a 2,000-3,000% markup because this is what they've just decided that their product is worth, and people will buy it. And on the other hand, there are so many other companies that will price their items much, much lower. And again, people will buy it, but it's really the same item because value is something that you can decide. And it's the same thing with you and your life. You can decide on what the value of you and the value of your life is worth. So really take some time to think about this and reflect on this. I recommend scripting about this because when you're writing, sometimes things that you didn't even know were there will come up. And really think about the value that you place on yourself and the value that you place on your manifestations. Because if your value is here, if where you think you are is here, and the value that you place on other people, on things, on your manifestations is like up here, then there's a disconnect, and that's probably where the most of your resistance is coming from. Okay, that's it for today's little video. I hope that you found value in this. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone who might also find it to be impactful. And I will see you next time. Bye!